Welcome back into NJCAA All Access. It's good to see you again after Thanksgiving, but back at it for one final episode before the new year, and it is certainly packed full. I'm Zach McKinstry.
And I'm Alexa Wesselman, and like Zach said, we have a lot to cover because not only have all fall championships wrapped, except for one, and it's a big one, the D1 football championship. It is Wednesday, December 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's on ESPNU, which is a big deal. A lot of exposure for those teams and players.
Going to be a lot of fun in Arkansas. We'll be there to check that out. But we had to decide which teams were going to play in it and play the rest of the bowl games last weekend. So let's start with our junior college football scoreboard. Last time we talked, we broke down the final rankings of the year, which featured the top 15 teams and the 4 who made it to the NJCAA championship. Since then, we picked out all the bowl games, and last weekend, all 3 were played, starting with number 7 Dodge City and number 15 New Mexico Military in the Wool Bowl. The Conquistadors picked up their first ever bowl win thanks to a strong defensive effort, tallying 5 takeaways and 4 interceptions, including this one on Nimi's first drive of the game. Dodge City dominated the second quarter, scoring 20 points before the half on another turnover and this punt block touchdown by Bobby Arnold III. The rest of the game was the Stone Wilson show as the Conquistadors running back ran for 196 yards and a pair of scores, and as a team, the Conks rushed for 262 yards, more than the Broncos gained total. And the 31-point victory got Terry Carg's team to an 8-win season for the first time since 2015. On Saturday, number 6 Copiah Lincoln traveled to the Lone Star State to take on number 10 Navarro in the Champs Heart of Texas Bowl, and the Wolves did not disappoint. A fumble on the opening kickoff of the game put Navarro on the board first, but Devon Tott and Colin responded on a 66-yard touchdown in the second quarter. The Wolves would trail again, though, after a field goal, and then this unbelievable Hail Mary as time expired in the second quarter. It put Navarro up 13-7 at the break. But once again, Tott would find the end zone, connecting with Jalen Smith to give Colin a lead they would keep. Another touchdown from running back Trey Minor was the icing on the cake, and Colin reached 10 wins for only the second time in program history. And after plenty of debate about number 5 Snow missing out on the playoffs, they played in the Game 1 Bowl instead and were outplayed by Iowa Central. The Tritons took their lone lead on a 78-play drive, which was capped off by a short Javonte Williams touchdown and was the first of 6 straight ICCC touchdowns. The Tritons' defense was so stingy that Snow didn't get their first down until their 7th possession, right before the half. A 17-3 halftime lead was extended after QB Justin Silverstein rushed into the end zone, and Iowa Central kept pouring it on to register a 44-9 win and their 13th straight bowl victory. And now for the crown jewel of the weekend, a semifinal matchup between 2-loss East Mississippi and an undefeated Giant and unanimous number 1 Hutchinson, who saw the Lions knock off the Blue Dragons. In a battle of the top 2 JUCO QBs in the country, it was the defense that kick-started the offense for EMCC. Ashton Shepard recovered this Samari Collier fumble, which set up Ty Keys and the Lions wide receiver core as Cam Wright reeled in the first East Mississippi score. The teams then went blow for blow into the half when Kyron Benjamin responded to a Hutch touchdown with a big 73-yard carry, resulting in a short trip for 6 by Ty Crowell. The Blue Dragons regained the lead right after intermission, though, on a long 60-yard touchdown to Orrin Singleton, and the Lions were forced to play from behind. Buddy Stevens' side showed ultimate poise, marching 78 yards on 16 plays in just over 6 minutes, resulting in a 4-yard touchdown to tie the game, and a blocked extra point would keep it at 20 aside. And then in the fourth quarter, EMCC, down 3, backed up to their own 12-yard line, meticulously mounted an 88-yard drive with yet another Ty Keys to Cam Wright connection to score the game winner with 52 seconds remaining. It will mark the 6th time East Mississippi has played for the national championship, and they will take on number 2 Iowa Western, who made short work of number 3 Kilgore without their starting QB. 47-7 was the final score, and it was the usual pattern of success for the Reavers, who stacked up 6 takeaways on 4 fumbles and 2 interceptions. The offensive explosion started after Kilgore pinned Iowa Western deep, down 7, and Jonathan Humpel doubled the lead with a 95-yard touchdown rush. Both sides continued to bully the Rangers as the Reavers defense added a safety, and they would lead 47-0 before a garbage time touchdown avoided the shutout. The defending national champs will make it back to Arkansas for the second straight year. And while we await the EMCC-IWCC matchup for the Division I National Championship, the Division III champ was crowned on Saturday in a barn burner between number 2 Rochester CTC and number 1 DuPage. The two-time defending national champ led 24-7 at the break thanks to 3 Jaden McGill scores, but the Yellow Jackets refused to die. A big touchdown and then botched snap safety got RCTC within 5, and then a clutch drive capped off by this 4-yard touchdown by Raphael Manning, and a 2-point conversion put the Yellow Jackets ahead 29-26 and on the doorstep of a national title. DuPage had its back to the wall and its chances at 3 straight titles on the line, and it was Jaden McGill again who ignited the Illinois crowd on a massive ensuing kickoff return, and with 1 minute remaining on 3rd and goal, Robert Brazil threw a 50-50 ball for Fabian Baez in the corner of the end zone, and it was caught for the score, the win, and the 3rd straight title for DuPage. As football season concludes, basketball is heating up in a big way. Number 1 Northwest Florida State was knocked off their perch by number 10 Daytona State in men's basketball, and number 4 McLennan was upset by the 17th ranked Odessa Wranglers 86-77 at the D1 level. Then in D2 and D3, the number 7 team in D3, Montgomery County, upset a team that received votes in the latest D2 poll in Middlesex on this game winner and the ensuing turnover with 2 seconds remaining. And then in D2 women's basketball, Lakeland College and the Lakers boast a 6-point victory over the number 5 Morton College Panthers to close out our junior college scoreboard.
Well, over the next week, there are some basketball matchups that we're going to get into, but obviously the big one, the D1 football championship. Number 2 Iowa Western facing number 4 East Mississippi. I'm not going to get into too many of the details because Zach is going to do a deep dive here in a second, but it is Wednesday, December 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's on ESPNU. It's such great exposure for both programs and for the NJCAA. So ESPNU, December 13th at 8 p.m. You're definitely going to want to watch it. Okay, let's talk basketball. In D1 men's, number 3 Vincennes versus number 14 Indian Hills. The Trailblazers are undefeated so far. I know it's early in the season, but they're playing really well. And the Warriors are 7-3, but they have a great opportunity here for an upset and to give their record a big boost right before the Christmas break. Keeping in basketball, D2 men's, number 10 Kirkwood versus number 4 Des Moines area. Kirkwood is building a solid streak right now. They've moved up in the rankings a little bit, but Des Moines is going to be a challenge. The Bears have had a strong record and haven't fallen out of the top 5 so far this season. D2 women's basketball, number 14 Pima versus number 4 Mesa. Pima is dominating their opponents right now, beating them by at least 30 points and consistently more. Mesa has stayed consistent in their playing, and that obviously reflects in their rankings. But this will also be Pima's first ranked matchup, so it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to Mesa's strength. Obviously, there are a lot of storylines and a lot of things to look at going into Little Rock and that D1 football championship. So Zach has a more in-depth look at the players, their records, and how each team got there.
Thanks, Alexa. Junior college football fans have been waiting all year long to crown a champion. And for most of the year, anyone assuming it would be anyone else other than Hutchinson, to quote Stephen A. Smith, would have been blasphemous. But the dominant Blue Dragons were conquered by a 2-loss team in East Mississippi who have rattled off 8 straight wins to fight for a title against the defending national champion Iowa Western Reavers. It's a rematch of the 2014 national championship, and here's everything you need to know about these two teams heading into Wednesday's showdown. First with EMCC. The Lions had lofty goals to start the season after adding former Southern Miss quarterback Ty Keys to the roster, but a disappointing 2-2 start required perfection if Buddy Stevens and crew wanted a chance to make the playoffs. With their backs to the wall, the Lions won their final 5 regular season games handedly and avenged their early season losses by defeating Mississippi Gulf Coast and Copiah Lincoln in the conference championship to claim their 9th MACCC title. Ty Keys earned Region 23 MVP after tossing an NJCAA best 32 touchdowns and leading the most dangerous passing offense in the NJCAA, accounting for over 3,000 yards through the air. He's assisted by a lethal wide receiver core as 3 Lion wideouts have 40 or more catches, 5 or more TDs, and 400 or more yards, led by sophomore Cam Wright, who has 11 scores on the year. Defensively, EMCC's 46 sacks are 3rd most in the NJCAA, led by lineman Alvin Williams, who has 7.5 on the year. And now for the Reavers of Iowa Western. Their QB isn't too shabby either. Dual-threat quarterback Hunter Watson has 1,700 pass yards and 600 more on the ground this year, accounting for 25 total touchdowns. Iowa Western plays good old ground-and-pound football with 3 players over 600 yards rushing this year, and then you get to the Reavers defense. IWCC led all of junior college football in interceptions, fumble recoveries, and sacks with one of the nastiest D-lines in junior college history. Gleb Lubin has 11.5 sacks, 22 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, and as a team, they're averaging nearly 5 sacks a game. It'll be interesting to see how that offensive line of EMCC holds up and if that passing game can stay effective if the Reavers get pressure to Ty Keys. I'm fired up just talking about it, so be sure to tune in next Wednesday, December 13th on ESPNU to that classic matchup. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we've got more football on the way. We talk to Alan Edward about the top-ranked players that are playing in this game, recruiting-wise.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
I have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday, MJ, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Welcome back into NJCAA All Access. We got a special guest for you today. It is a former JUCO player himself, a current coach, and he knows more about the JUCO landscape than most people in the space. It's Alan Edward, and we're here to talk today about the championship game coming up, East Mississippi, Iowa Western, some of the top names in all of junior college football. Who are some of those names that you're looking out for in terms of Division I recruiting?
Oh my God, my first one is number 1, Ty Keys. He's my favorite recruit coming out this year in the 2024 class. That's not getting enough praise. He has a big frame, about 6'3", 205, and just watching his film just amazes me. Me being a former quarterback, I see the tools of him being like a, Tyrod Taylor or a guy that plays like, Deshaun Watson. When he gets out the pocket, he's really a threat, and that's where you don't want to get him. You gotta, when you're playing Ty Keys, you got to make him feel uncomfortable, to make these type of throws. But getting him out the pocket is where he's really dangerous with his strong arm, big frame. He's also bounced back from Southern Miss, and this is one guy that's not getting enough praise in his JUCO season this year.
Yeah, I know he's a guy that's definitely getting a lot of eyes on him. I think he just got offered by ECU, according to his social media a couple of days ago, but definitely has some D1 potential. What about for Iowa Western? Are there any guys that pop off the charts for you?
The number one guy that popped off for me is their freshman running back. I believe that kid is a stud, and he's just going to keep growing. And he's actually might come back. If I was him, I'll come back next year and just continue to prove myself that I can play in D1. But he's the guy. That's Iowa Western guy for sure on offense.
Yeah, and then on the defensive side of the ball, you got guys like Clev Lubin, who have over 10 sacks this year, is getting looked at left and right, and definitely a guy that everybody's checking out.
Yes, sir. Kamari Copeland, too. He's a guy. I mean, he got the whole run on his back, and he's also bounced back from Army, I believe. And he's a guy that's going to interrupt, the game for East Mississippi. And I know East Mississippi throws the ball a lot, and they can also run the ball too. But it's going to be a game for sure. And they're going to have to block him so he don't get through.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, any final comments? What's your preview for the championship game on Wednesday?
Oh, man, my prediction is going to be maybe 21-14. I'll give it to Iowa Western winning that game. But Iowa Western, again, will have to score on offense. The high-tempo offense that they have to continue to score because East Mississippi could come back and do the same thing. But if East Mississippi wins that game, it'll be because of a turnover on the defense side.
It is going to be an exciting matchup for sure. Thank you, Alan, for your time at JUCO Football Frenzy. And you've been incredible. Appreciate your time. And we're going to send it to a break. So when we come back, we've got more for you on NJCAA All Access. So stay right here with us.
The future is threatened by enemies often unseen and unexpected. In the midst of an uncertain and evolving world, the need for Marines to defeat these shifting threats is critical because the need to ensure stability for our nation has never been greater. When there are battles to win for America's future, there is one constant: Marines.
Welcome back to NJCAA All Access. All right, we're just going to jump right into some rankings because we have a lot of basketball to get to. In D1 men's, a new school rules the leaderboard. Hello, South Plains. Previous #1 Northwest Florida State falls to #5. A big jump for Daytona State. They went from 10th to 4th. And Trinity Valley moves up several spots into 7th. And we have a fresh ranking. Cowley County entering at 11th. In D2 men's basketball, Davidson-Davie moving into that second-ranked spot after Johnson County slips all the way down to 6th. And Pima making their debut in week 4 at 15. D3 men's basketball, Dutchess falls from 4th to 8th. And Genesee gets their first ranking of the season, coming in at 12th. D1 women's basketball, Trinity Valley makes their move into the top 10. McLennan moves down 4th to 9th. Pearl River falls from 9th to 13th. And College of Southern Idaho slides down from 11th to 17th. In D2 women's basketball, we have a little chaos happening here. Parkland had a great week. They move into 3rd. DCBC Essex makes a huge jump from 12th to 5th, and they went 3 straight wins to get into that spot. Lakeland moving up from 16th to 11th, and Morton falling from 5th to 12th. And we wrap up with D3 women's basketball. Rochester Community and Technical College still leads the way, followed by Minnesota West, Owens, Riverland, and Anoka Ramsey. And Jefferson Community College joins the rankings at 15th. Those are the rankings that we got for this weekend. Now it's time for Zach and a more fun segment of the show.
We only have 3 junior college gyms today, with the mix of football season winding down, basketball season heating up, but it combines for a lot of top-tier highlights. And we start our JUCO gyms deep in the heart of Texas for the Heart of Texas Bowl. Navarro down by 6 with zeros on the clock before the half. and the Hail Mary is answered by Jackson Warren, the 6'6" wide receiver in the corner of the end zone. Look at him get up to moss two Colon defenders and reel in the TD before the break. A clutch play on the connection from Dane Jinch, and the Bulldogs would celebrate. Warren flexes, and Navarro would hold the lead at the half. From Hail Mary to half-court heave, it's Chanel Smith of Monroe College who beats the buzzer with that miracle shot to end the third quarter. Smith giving it everything she's got to launch that one on frame, and she gets it to go before the horn, off the backboard, and a nice combination play to get it off before that buzzer sounds and put 3 points on the board for Monroe. And lastly, is it prime Blake Griffin or prime Jeff Nwanku as the Cowley big man soars to slam this one home? His Tiger teammates don't know what to do on the bench, and I don't blame them. It puts a Coffeyville player on a poster, gets the 2 points, and then makes SportsCenter top 10 in the win for the Tigers, who are off to a great start this year. One more look at Nwanku, who puts the finishing touches on our junior college gyms with that incredible flush.
And what a way to end All Access with the last JUCO Gems of the year. Like Zach mentioned, this is the last episode of the year because Zach and I will be traveling to the D1 Football Championship in Little Rock, Arkansas next week. So make sure to watch all of our social media channels because we're going to be posting all kinds of behind-the-scenes footage and just everything that goes on for those 4 days in Little Rock.
Yep, a lot of fun, a lot to follow at NJCAA Network on our Twitter account or on Facebook. And be sure to tune into that game on Wednesday, December 13th on ESPNU. But that's all we got for you. Have a fun and safe, happy holiday season. And we will be back here when you return in 2024 on the NJCAA Network.